So let's have a real conversation. If I had to start from zero, no savings, no investments, no financial cushion, what would I do? Starting from zero, starting over can be overwhelming, but it is possible with clear intention and with a clear strategy. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about what I would do if I was starting from the very beginning, from zero, no shame, no judgment, and no fluff, just real clear action steps on what I would do, what Bola would do if I were to start over. Let's get into it. Hi, everyone. My name is Bola Sokunbi. I'm the founder and CEO of Clever Girl Finance. I'm also the author of the Clever Girl Finance book series and my most recent book, Choosing to Prosper. Welcome to Clever Girl Finance TV. So if I was starting from scratch, here's what I would do. The first thing I would do would be to take a good hard look at my current numbers. So I'd want to understand, what is my current income? How much do I have coming in? Is it an inconsistent or consistent income? I'd want to understand what my expenses are. How much is going out every month? What am I paying for recurrently or on a one-off basis for the next few months? I'd also determine what debts I have and what that debt is costing me. And I'll also look at what my core essentials are. What is the cost of my core essentials so that I could shift myself into survival mode? And this is basically being able to cover my food, my housing, my transportation, my core utilities, and any core medications, etc., that my household might need. For example, my kids have year-round allergies. And so really looking at my numbers will help me gain clarity as to, okay, Bola, you're starting from zero, but where do you actually stand with your finances? What is your current financial situation? And this will help me plan my next step. For me, this wouldn't be the time to sugarcoat anything because I cannot build a plan, a strategy without clarity. And so the key here for me is to gain that clarity so I can set my focus and set my intentions. Number two, I would cut my spending to the bare essentials. Again, keep in mind, I'm starting from zero. And so I'm trying to pick myself up, get back on my feet. And even if I had a high income, right, I would focus on just the bare essentials. So this is me going into survival mode so that I can kind of gather myself together and get things back on track. So in order to get in survival mode, I would pause on all non-essential spending. This basically means anything that has to do with getting my nails done, getting my hair done. I can do those things myself for a short period of time. I would cancel unused subscriptions, the streaming services I don't watch, don't use, so that I can funnel as much money as I can into building savings. I would cook at home. I would pause completely on ordering in or eating out. Again, this is Bola in survival mode. I would also cut out emotional or convenience shopping. So I would not allow myself to go to the mall for a short period of time to buy clothes or cosmetics. I have enough of that at home. And I would set a weekly bare bones spending cap. Basically, this is the maximum I can spend, and I would stick to it. And essentially, the reasons for me doing this, like I mentioned earlier, is because I am being crystal clear on wanting to start over. And so, yes, I would love to get my hair done. I'd love to get my nails done. But for me personally, I would put a pause on those things so that I could gather myself, put some savings aside, and then get back to it. So when you're thinking about yourself, if you are starting over, if you need to start over, you found yourself in a financial situation where, things are not going well and you're starting from zero, what do you need to cut out to get into survival mode so that you can start putting money aside to get back on your feet? These are not permanent cuts. For me, these are temporary cuts, and for you, they would be temporary cuts just so that you can get back on track. Once things are a bit more stabilized, you can go back to doing the things you love and to treating yourself as well. So by cutting back and just getting to survival mode, this essentially allows me to be really, really focused on my spending and put every single dollar towards a priority. Number three, I would focus on fast cash opportunities. Keep in mind, I said fast cash opportunities, not get rich quick schemes. There is a difference here. So I would ask myself, how can I bring money in the door quickly? How can I bring in some cash to help me accelerate putting money aside and getting back on my feet? And this is what I would do. I would consider selling unused items in my house. So tech items, clothing. I have so many clothes, furniture that's not being used, old kids items, things in my garage, things in my basement. I would get so creative with selling these items, unused items or items that I no longer need, to bring in extra cash. And I would do that on places like eBay, Facebook Marketplace, even have a garage sale or take items to my local consignment store. I would also think about offering a service based on my skill set, right? Maybe a service I could offer on TaskRabbit or something like that. I would tap into my skills in terms of offering those services. So, for example, freelancing, coaching, speaking, those are things that I know I personally am really good at, and I could offer a service there. So, start thinking about yourself. What kind of skills can you monetize? So, I'd look for a part time gig that maybe perhaps even paid me tips in addition to my full-time business. And so for you might be a full-time job. But things like food delivery or doing Uber, etc., those can help to bring in some extra cash on the side. And I may even think about offering virtual admin services to small businesses, because as a small business owner, I know how small businesses work and I can definitely add value there. So the goal is not about perfection. The goal is about making progress to get yourself back on your feet. And some of these things may sound crazy, like why would Bola want to do any of those things? But remember, in this scenario, I'm starting from zero. I am in survival mode. I'm trying to bring as much money in the door as possible so that I can pay my bills, I can get back on my feet, I can start saving again, and eventually start investing, because right now I don't have anything. So it's all about getting creative and stepping outside of my comfort zone. I haven't had a odd job in years. If I need to bring money in, best believe I'm going to go out and do what I need to do to bring that money in the door. Number 4, I would build a starter emergency fund. So once I have money coming into the door, my first priority is to put aside my first $500, my first $1,000, and then my first $1,500. And what this buffer emergency fund is going to allow me to do is have a bit of peace of mind, because $1,500 can cover utilities, it can cover putting food on the table, it can cover getting a simple car repair, changing my tires, buying an emergency plane ticket. $1,500, while it's not a ton of money, can do a ton of stuff if you have money coming in. And so I'd prioritize that emergency fund and use it as my buffer account until I'm able to add even more to it. And this is not money I'm going to keep in my checking account, so I'm not tempted to spend it. I'm going to put it in a separate account where I can access it easily, but I'm not going to have a check or a debit card that I put in my wallet and just swipe, swipe, swipe whenever I get tempted. Number 5, I would create a simple and flexible budget. And by simple, I really mean simple. And this is me going with the 50-30-20 budget. And essentially, this is where I would put 50% of my income towards needs, 30% to goals, savings, debt payoff, and 20% to flexibility or small wants, because during this process of starting over, you might experience burnout. And the reason why I've chosen the 50-30-20 budget for me is because in this season of starting over, there is no need to complicate things. This is a very simple and effective budget. However, you can modify this 50-30-20 to work for your situation, or you can adjust the percentages based on what is going to work best for you. So you may decide to do a 70-20-10 budget. So for example, you may choose to do the 80-20 budget. You may have really large needs and expenses, right, at this time. So maybe 80% is going towards your needs, but then you carve out 20% to go towards your goals, like your savings, like paying down debt, like investing. So you want to adjust this budget to, in terms of percentages, to work for you and make it as simple as possible so you don't feel overwhelmed and so you don't get burned out by trying to pursue a complex budget, especially right now. By the way, if you are enjoying this video, I'd love for you to subscribe to this channel. Check out Clever Girl Finance website. We offer over 30 plus completely free courses and over 40 plus completely free worksheets. You can also check out our podcast called the Clever Girls Know Podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast episodes. And don't forget to tell your best girlfriends about Clever Girl Finance as well. And be sure to check out the Clever Girl Finance book series. There are 5 books in this series, including my new workbook called My Wealth Plan. Okay, let's get back to the video. Number 6, I would choose a debt payoff plan. So if I had debt that I was tackling in addition to starting over, I would pick one of the following. I would either pick the snowball method, where I organize my debt by lowest balance to highest balance and prioritize paying off my top debt first. So that would be my debt with the lowest balance first. Or I would pick the avalanche method, where I organize my debt by the debt that's costing me the most, so the debt that has the highest interest rate, and I would prioritize paying as much more than the minimum payment to that number 1 priority debt as possible. Next, I would pick up my phone once I've organized all my debts and determined the method I want to use to pay my debt down, whether it's snowball or avalanche. I would pick up my phone and call my creditors, call my lenders, and try to negotiate a better interest rate, an adjusted payment timeline, a hardship request if possible, if they have hardship programs, depending on what my finances are looking like. One thing to keep in mind when it comes to debt is that you can always negotiate. There's always room to negotiate. And even if you can't, the worst response you can get is no, it is not available to you, and you go ahead with the plan that you have created. But if you are tackling debt and you find yourself maybe unable to pay, definitely pick up your phone and call your lender and ask about hardship programs, ask about deferred payments so that they do not start making negative remarks on your credit because you've just ghosted them. You want to have the conversation, you want to try to negotiate, and then put your plan in place. And based on the income you have coming in and the budget you have created, you can start working on paying down your debts. Number 7, I would start learning about money every day. And this one is huge. This is because knowledge is power. If I'm starting from zero and I have gaps in my financial literacy, I am going to focus on learning as much as I can. And I would do things like spend 10 to 15 minutes a day learning about how to manage my money, how to budget properly, how credit works. I will learn about how investing works. I will learn how to grow my income. And I really prioritize learning how to build long-term wealth. How can I combine all these things I have learned to build long-term wealth for myself so I don't find myself in the position where I have to start from zero ever again. And guess what? When it comes to learning about financial literacy or improving your financial literacy skills, Clever Girl Finance has over 30 plus completely free courses. We have over 40 plus completely free worksheets. And there is the book series that you can start with to help you get back on your feet. And I'd also focus on creating a mindset shift, basically telling myself that by learning new things, I'm going to be creating new results for myself. Number 8, I would set up automation. And this basically means automating whatever part of my finances I can, especially if I have a consistent income. So I would automate bill payments. That way I don't have to have that mental gymnastics about what is due, when is due. And I will also prioritize automating my savings, even if it's only $5 a week, $10 every 2 weeks, whatever that amount may be. I would automate an amount to go to savings automatically so that I can start building that consistent habit of saving over time. As my income increases, I can save even more through automation. So automation is a great way to get your savings to be consistent, to stay on top of your bill payments so that you're not paying bills late. And studies show that when you automate, you save more money on average than people who don't, because when you don't automate and your paycheck hits your bank account, before you get a chance to save, something always comes up. There's always a distraction, always a bill. There's something that's always going to cause you to spend the money, right? However, if you have automated it, the money automatically goes to your savings account. It automatically goes to your investments and to your bills before you get a chance to be like, oh, should I buy this? Should I not buy this? Oh, I'll save later. I'll save after this XYZ. You don't give yourself the opportunity to start having those conversations with yourself because the money has already been automatically put aside for your future self. Number 9, I would start investing as soon as I could. So once I have my small cushion of emergency savings set aside, my income is consistent, I would open up a Roth IRA, a traditional IRA, or a 401k, depending on my type of employment, and I will start putting small amounts of money to start investing. You don't need a huge amount of money to get started with investing. You can start with very small amounts. And the key to building wealth with investing over time is staying consistent. As your income increases, you will increase your investments. And what's great about investing is that your money is working for you even when you're asleep. And this is because of the power of compounding, dividends that your money can earn when the investment is doing well, and also appreciation, which is the growth in value of your investment. And I will also stick to simplified investments, which basically would be things like low cost index funds or ETFs that offer me broad diversification and minimal risk. Number 10, I would take guilt-free breaks to celebrate my wins. So starting over is not a walk in the park. It's going to be tough. You're going to need to give yourself grace and patience. You may have setbacks. Things may not go according to plan, but as long as you set the intention and you keep making progress, that is what counts. And so as I'm on that journey, making that progress, navigating setbacks, I'm going to be intentional about celebrating my wins in a way that makes sense. That's not derailing me from for my goals. It could be making sure that I'm able to get my favorite coffee every week, or get my nails done, or do something that makes me feel good, treat myself to something that makes me feel happy about the progress I'm making without derailing my progress. It's really important that you celebrate your wins and you empower yourself to keep moving forward, because there are times on a financial journey where, you may feel low, your emotions might be low, and you just want a pick me up. And by celebrating your wins, you can do just that for yourself. We talk a lot about discipline when it comes to improving your finances, starting over, or even growing wealth. However, discipline does not mean deprivation. It does not mean punishment. You still want to be able to enjoy life's little pleasures while you are on this journey, right? And so I would build in those guilt-free rewards for myself, and I definitely encourage you to do that for yourself as well, within reason. So if you are starting from zero today, you're having to start over, starting from the beginning, understand that this is not your final destination. This is you taking those first new steps to get to somewhere different, somewhere big, somewhere huge, somewhere that's going to make you feel empowered and proud of yourself at the end of the day. So don't be demotivated, don't be discouraged. It is possible to rebuild. It is possible to start over. It is possible to start from zero and build something incredible, something that you'll be so proud of. So just start with one step today. What is the one action you can take today to get your finances back on track? And then keep going. And then keep track of your wins. Journal how you are doing. Every time something good happens, write it down. It doesn't have to be anything massive or elaborate, but those small wins are very motivating. And over time, when you look back to see the progress you have made, you will realize how far you have come. Because sometimes when you're in the motions of rebuilding, it's hard to see the progress until you're able to look back and see how far you've come. So by documenting your wins, you'll be able to do just that. So I would love for you to share in the comments, what is the first step you're going to take today to work on rebuilding your finances if you're starting from zero, or if you find that you have to start over. Perhaps what you share will inspire someone else who is also starting over as well. I hope you have found this video useful. If you have, please subscribe to this channel, hit the like button below, tell your best girlfriends about Clever Girl Finance, and be sure to stop by our website to check out our 30+ free courses, our free worksheets, and also to schedule a completely free mentor call. So one of the things that Clever Girl Finance offers is free mentor calls when you sign up for a course. So we would love to talk with you and support you on your journey. Thanks for being here, and I will talk to you in the next video.